Welcome everybody, this is Commander Ramsey, and in this particular video we continue our series on the month of May. The Imperial Japanese Navy battleship line. In this game I'm playing the Tier 6 Mutsu, and the Mutsu was a Nagato Class battleship, an older battleship from the WW1 vintage post-war, and she is equipped with 410 millimeter shells, the largest supposedly at Tier 6, even though I think that West Virginia would give her a run for her money. The Mutsu is a crafty battleship. It is equipped with torpedoes. However, they are located on the broadsides and are hard to use, so unless you're in an extreme situation where you're in a do or die situation with another large cruiser or battleship, they don't really provide much use. However, the 4 turrets with 2 barrels each, totaling 8 main battery guns, 410 millimeter, are of the older shell vintage. They do pack a strong hit, but they're not as strong as you might think they are. And their dispersion is a little bit strange. The ship's armor on the sides is not as strong as you would hope, but you do have to protect yourself. The secondary guns are very short range and pretty much useless unless you're in a real close tanking situation. The plane is equipped with a spotter, which is quite handy. And here I customarily use HE shells at range and hoping to get a fire started. Here the Omaha is creeping behind an island. Fire on him at range, about 16 kilometers. And do get a fire started on him. Multiple shells connected. Not too bad. The battleship, like others, is equipped with the depth charge airstrike, and you can see those at the lower bottom of your screen there, number 4 selection. Try to get some more shells on the Omaha. Thought I had a good volley there with AP, but somehow I missed on all of those. The accuracy of this ship is somewhat questionable at times. The dispersion is a little bit strange, so you think you're going to make contact, and somehow you end up missing. Nonetheless, here I trained my guns on the Colorado. I will say, him being a Tier 7 ship, he does have an advantage, and he can penetrate my armor fairly easily. My goal here is to move forward, try to maintain a little bit of an angle, but I'm at a bad situation here. I'm trying to get behind this island before he lets me have it. Trying to make contact with a cruiser at range. Thought I had a good volley there. But you'll notice at Tier 6, with this heavy of a gun, you get a lot of overpins, particularly on cruisers and, of course, destroyers. So you really need to make use of the HE shells when you can. The torpedoes are only good out to about 7 kilometers. So I really don't make much use of those in this particular battle. One of my friendlies just exploded. I do make use of the multiple blue camo here. I'm still thinking it does have some help. And right away I'm getting pinged by a submarine. But I'm hoping to get behind one of these islands before his torpedoes home in on me. My commander build and ship build is at the end of the battle. You can see the submarine torpedoes hit the island as I predicted they might. Finally got out of that situation where I'm showing some broadside. The enemy ships are quite attentive when you're turning. They definitely zero in on you, so you've got to try to be as careful as possible when turning. Some refer to it as the turn of doom. I'm continuing to get peppered. The Mutsu was about 700 feet long, and so you can see there I was hit with heavy damage, even though I was facing away from the enemy. He still was able to penetrate my deck into the lower parts of the ship for big damage. And the Mutsu is that way. It is quite spongy, and you will absorb a lot of damage. So don't let the 410mm guns trick you into thinking that you're a tanking battleship. You are not, particularly when you are up-tiered. A lot of the Tier 7 battleships are much better equipped at their armor than you, and they are usually equipped with heavy 15 or 16-inch guns, and they can do some significant damage to you and send you back to port quite quickly. One of the advantages of the Mutsu, like many of the other Japanese battleships, is it does have long-range guns, so you can make use of those, and the spotter plane. Oftentimes, you're better off with the HE shells, as the World War I 16-inch shells in this ship are not as hard-hitting as their older cousins in the Tier 7 and Tier 8 ships, such as the Amagi and the Key. So the ship can be a little frustrating to play because you end up missing a lot of volleys, which you would normally hit. I did make a few good penetrations there. I'm trying to play back because my damage was getting beyond 50%, so this gives me some time to try to kind of regroup and gain some of that back. Of course, a lot of your cruisers, they're going to use the zigzag pattern if they're smart and avoid a lot of your long-distance shots. Somebody went ahead and took out the Omaha there at mid-range. The Omaha is pretty much a glass cannon, and it's fairly easy to take out if she's not using the zigzag. And even then, she can be easily penetrated. We've got a good lead, but the ship advantage is not much. We've got about a 1 ship advantage. But we do have a cap advantage. You can see in the lower right hand screen the mini map. Somehow I missed on that one. So the game gets a little slow. I would best think this ship is best reserved for Tier 5 through Tier 7 battles. Sometimes you find yourself in a Tier 8 battle and it's very difficult to play this ship. You just simply get overpowered with your armor. I'm trying to make my quick turn before the Colorado fires back. Here I got a pretty good shot on him. She does have a fairly good quick moving rudder. And you can change positions fairly quickly. Trying to put some hurt here on the German battleship. He's a little slow at moving his rudder. I get one penetration there. So you end up a lot of times with the Mutsu at getting small to mid damage most of the time when you play the ship. If you get in too close, her spongy armor will not allow you to really tank, and you'll be sent back to port fairly quickly. So the Mutsu is best played at mid to long range, which at times can be fairly boring, but if you play her correctly, such as behind an island here, you can get some pretty good damage. I do pick up a little more damage before the end of the battle, so don't let it confuse you. Pretty much waiting for a good spot. Get some good penetrations there. So your damage really starts to add up with you know, those 4, 6, 8,000 HP volleys. Here I'm kind of getting into a situation where I'm on the weak flank. I'll launch a little more shells at the German battleship, but I noticed another Colorado is peppering me with damage, so I've got to turn. I did take the German battleship out finally, but the damage is not that great yet. So you're pretty much just slowly adding to your hit point totals. Trying to get some damage here on the Colorado, going back to HE shells, hoping to get a fire started on him. He's bow straight at me, so I really won't penetrate him with these WW1 shells on the Mutsu. But I don't have a fire started on him yet. I can get some good damage to his superstructure with these HE shells as well. There's a good example there. I got 2 fires started on him. Trying to keep a slight angle to him if I can, because he can do some real damage to me. See, even then he got some good damage on me, and I'm still angled. A little more damage there, but the fire damage is what's adding up, and that's what HE shells are good for when you're going against a ship that has bigger armor than you. You can really start to add up the damage using HE shells and fires. Kind of got lucky there, but I got this pesky island in front of me. But the game ends here. We win by points, and you won't really score a lot with the Mutsu. You know, typically 50 to 90,000 is not uncommon. Most of that damage came, I believe, though, from fires, as the penetration capability of these WW1 shells on the Mutsu is not what you would expect for 4 10mm shells, 16-inch guns. But for Tier 6, she is a fairly strong battleship of the Nagato Class, but she's not as strong on her armor as you would think. Anyway, we'll move on here and take a look at the results of the battle. The ship itself, the commander skill build here, I've got But you can look at the details of the battle. The fire damage down below, 6 fires, 21,000 of that was fires. About 26K was armor piercing. And so the remaining damage from the HE shells, about 34,000. And I played several battles in this ship, kind of noticing the best damage I will get is playing her just like I did in this battle. Kind of a mix of HE damage, fire damage, and when you get the opportunity using the AP shells. But playing the ship at mid-range to long range is typically the safest thing, particularly when you are in an up-tiered situation. Going against Tier 7 ships like the Colorado and others. Got some pretty good commander skills damage, about almost 20,000. But I would say overall the 6 fires really helped on the score. I did move Commander Yamamoto over to help with the slow gun traverse, and that definitely does help with these Japanese battleships. They're quite slow on their gun turret speed. Taking a look at the ship build, I would recommend aiming systems mod 1 and get that dispersion down to 214 meters at 20 kilometers, which is quite good with use of the spotter plane. Also, I've been using the damage control party mod 1 in hopes to help on avoiding submarine torpedoes, and I found it more helpful since submarines have been introduced to the game. Here's the skill build. There's your greasing the gears from Commander Yamamoto, and also helping out on the preventative maintenance to beef up your strength there. Using the AA defense, I notice helps a lot with the Japanese battleships. Their AA build is weak. The Mutsu AA build is weak, so it needs a little bit of help. So, yep, Yamamoto's skill build does help in that category. Still won't shoot down a lot of planes, but at least let them know you're there. I hope you enjoyed the video. There's some of the economic bonus flags to help boost your score. One last thing is I'm still experimenting and using the multiple colored blue camo, and hoping that this helps at mid to long range as far as confusing the enemy on what part of the ship he may be aiming for.